Good evening. My name is Chris Plano, and I'm a proud JW alumni and the manager of Alumni Relations at the Johnson & Wales University Charlotte campus. Welcome to our very first JW Charlotte virtual alumni event, giving us truly a unique opportunity to engage in what is the new normal in the times that we are all currently living in. I hope everyone is staying safe and staying healthy. I am so excited that we have JW alumni and special guests on this webinar this evening, joining us from as far away as California, Hawaii, Ohio, Florida, Nevada, Arizona, New York, New Jersey, throughout the United States and internationally. Whether you're joining us near or far from the JW Charlotte campus, we are glad you have taken time out of your schedule to join us this evening. Before we get started, I'd like to review a couple of quick housekeeping items. If you have a question for any of our guest speakers this evening, please feel free to add it to the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen. These questions will be asked throughout the event and answered for you. We will get to as many questions as time allows. The chat feature can be used to message other attendees individually, privately, or the entire group publicly. This section is also located at the bottom of your screen, and we encourage you to use the chat feature during tonight's event. Can you believe it's just been a few short weeks ago that the JW Charlotte campus welcomed the graduating class of 2024 to campus, who now have started their college journey? I am truly excited about tonight's alumni event, giving us all a unique opportunity for us not only to engage and reconnect virtually, but also for us to have the opportunity to interact with the new JW Charlotte campus president, Dr. Cheryl Richards. With no further ado, I would like to introduce to you Dr. Cheryl Richards, who became the first JW Charlotte woman president in June 2020. Dr. Richards previously served as CEO and founding regional dean, overseeing Northeastern University's first regional campus here in Charlotte. During her tenure, Dr. Richards grew offerings to more than 50 programs, including bachelor's, master's, doctoral, and certificate programs. Dr. Richards is a community leader, serving multiple terms on the Charlotte Chamber's Executive Committee and on the boards of Apero, Smart Start of Mecklenburg County, Patriots Path, and Progressive AE. Prior to Northeastern University, Dr. Richards was a campus and academic dean at the Cato campus of Central Piedmont Community College here in Charlotte. I would now like to turn the program over to Johnson & Wales University Charlotte campus president, Dr. Cheryl Richards. Dr. Richards?
Thank you so much, Chris. And thank you to what I understand is about 100 of our alumni who are joining us, and from many places near and far, as Chris mentioned. You know, the pandemic has given us the opportunity to try new things, and I think this is one of those things that's here to stay and will allow us to connect with you, our alumni, wherever your careers take you. And so I appreciate you joining us this evening to hear a little bit about myself as your new president of the Johnson & Wales University Charlotte campus. And also, I thought I might share with you some of the excerpts that I shared with our faculty and staff during our State of the Campus address just a few short weeks ago. So let me see if I can drive this presentation at the same time. So some of you know that the spring and the summer were a great time of transition for Johnson & Wales. When the pandemic hit in February and March, like many other institutions, we sent our students home abruptly, and they continued their learning remotely. And while this was easy for a lot of institutions across the country, most of them didn't have students who were in culinary labs that required them to complete their courses. So when I arrived in June, we were not only in the middle of a pandemic, but we were also in the middle of a transition from the quarter system that many of you are familiar with to a semester system, which put additional pressure on us to help our spring students complete their labs before the fall. By July, just shortly after the 4th of July holiday, we welcomed back nearly 200 students back on campus to live in the residence halls to complete their culinary labs from the spring. We asked them to wear masks and keep their appropriate physical distance, and we reduced the capacity of our labs and classrooms to prevent the spread of COVID. And we were very successful. We made it through 6 weeks of summer classes with 0 positive cases of COVID. So we took those lessons learned from the summer and we entered the fall knowing that the pandemic would still continue and knowing that we were still continuing to transition to semester format. We also learned over the summer that we would be welcoming students from our Denver and North Miami campuses that were consolidated over the summer. So today, we have nearly 1,400 students enrolled in a combination of on-campus, remote, and hybrid classes. We welcomed back all first-year freshmen and students with lab courses to live on campus and to take those classes in person. So as a result, we're at about 50% capacity in our classrooms and labs, and we have about 750 students living in our residence halls. There are even a handful of students who were lucky enough to draw a lottery ticket to spend their fall semester at the DoubleTree in a king-size bed with some housekeeping services throughout the term. So they were the lucky few. Thus far, we've had less than 5 cases of positive COVID results on our campus, and our students and faculty continue to take the pandemic very seriously and continue to model all of the practices that we put in place for the summer. So now that we've made it through that summer transition, I thought I would tell you a little bit about myself and why I'm so excited to join the Johnson & Wales community at this particular time. I come from a background of a professional or personal background, a family of restaurateurs. Both my grandparents on my mother and my father's side owned and operated restaurants. My grandmother even patented onion rings, gourmet onion rings, way back in the 1950s. And I grew up helping my father in his seafood warehouse, donning one of those big heavy coats that you wear to walk into the walk-in freezer. Frankly, could have fit about 3 of my friends in there with me. That gave me an insight into the industry that few people have. My father also gave me my first job working food shows and doing in-store demos of products. And later, he opened his own food brokerage, and I was able to help with store calls and retail product placement and kind of got into the marketing side of food services. By the time I made it to graduate school, it's suffice to say I was one of the best fed students, and my apartment was quite the popular destination for friends who frequently volunteered to help me make my way through industrial sized cans of soup and some lump crab meat and jams and jellies, and of course, all of those frozen foods as well. And it was in graduate school that I found my passion for education and something that I've now turned into a 30-year career. I started out as an RA in the residence halls and became a hall director and worked in campus activities. And after graduate school, dabbled in a couple different areas in English language programs, conference and event services, marketing, and enrollment management. And I moved to Charlotte in 2004, which was the same year that the Johnson & Wales University campus opened in Charlotte. So I had a firsthand seat to witness the excitement of the community in welcoming Johnson & Wales to the city. As Chris said, at that time I was with Central Piedmont Community College leading their corporate training programs and running a 10,000 student campus, which had an early college high school on it. And later, as he mentioned, I was recruited to start up Northeastern University's campus just down the street at Trade and Tryon. By the time I had left Northeastern, we'd not only grown our academic programs, but we had grown our vibrancy in the city. And I did at Northeastern what I'd done in all of my previous jobs, and that is to innovate and make sure that we're constantly keeping education relevant so that our students and our graduates are prepared for careers. And so how does this leadership style transition into Johnson & Wales' future? People who know me well, have gotten to know me, know that I am a self-proclaimed innovator with persistence. And they also know that I'm an evangelist of strengths-based leadership. I personally thrive on creating strategies and opportunities that push our educational system to ensure that our students gain the knowledge and skills that they need to succeed in their careers. I like to be first in innovating. I like to lead through strengths rather than focusing on weaknesses. And for me, Johnson & Wales University in Charlotte has many strengths. It has boundless opportunities, And I might even go so far as to say that we are poised to help our community and our students achieve their best potential. So now that you know a little bit more about me, I thought I would transition and tell you how I see these relating to the priorities of our campus. I've already mentioned to you that the day that Johnson & Wales opened in 2004 and all of the business community support here, and I know many of you on this call are alumni from our culinary and hospitality programs. And so you've witnessed firsthand the impact that the university has made in the Charlotte region, particularly in the restaurant and hospitality industries. In addition to those, the Charlotte region has continued to grow faster than most cities in the United States. And in fact, over the last decade, we've grown from being known largely as a hub for finance and banking to one that now boasts the third largest healthcare system in the Southeast and is the fastest growing market for tech talent, among other industries. And if you're still in the Charlotte area, you can see this playing out as we have become home to numerous headquarters, including Allstate and Honeywell and Truist, as well as the site of the new Lowe's Home Improvement Tech headquarters, which is the last photo here on this slide. So while Charlotte has been known for some of these fast-growing industries, we're also known, let's go ahead and get through that, there we go, with 100 new people moving to the area each day. And I think we have the potential to do exactly what Johnson & Wales did in 2004, which has become an integral part of the city's growth, just the way that we did with hospitality and food industries. And those of you that are working now in our restaurants and breweries and entertainment districts know how important it is for the university to be deeply integrated in the city. So our priorities as a campus will continue to focus on these opportunities in the region. We'll continue to use the best of our faculty and staff talent as an academic institution to make sure that our students are prepared for the positions in the new economy. So some of the priorities that we will be focusing on in the next year is to capitalize on the region's growth and to make data-driven decisions. We will spend our time listening to the community, and for the past 3 months, I've been listening with the leadership on the campus, the faculty and the staff, as well as members of the Charlotte community. And to a person, nearly all of them are excited about the role that Johnson & Wales Charlotte campus can play in the community. And they are excited for us to reposition our students to be very successful in the new economy. So we'll conduct some market research about existing and future industries. We'll get a better understanding of what industries are growing, and we'll explore new programs and academic offerings for our current students as well as our future students and you, our alums, should you want to come back and pursue an additional degree with us, so that we are prioritizing and structuring ourselves for success in the region and beyond. Let me move quickly to our prominence in the region. You've heard me say that one of the unique characteristics of the Charlotte campus is the commitment and the support that we enjoy of the business community. Frankly, it's the business community that brought the university to Charlotte, and it's what will keep the university deeply ingrained in the community. So whether it's with some of our well-known industries like food, restaurants, hospitality, or some of the other ones like banking and healthcare and technology, we're going to partner with our employers for the benefit of our students and our alumni. We'll also work with our community leaders, some of whom are pictured here, to be positioned to help when the community needs our help. And we will establish our priorities to provide opportunities not only for our students, but for the community as a whole. We also want to consider what the experience means to our students. And as we think about our current students, we don't want to understand what attracted them to Johnson & Wales and why. We want to know what will attract new students to come. We understand that the Charlotte campus has great strength in our diversity of our student body, and we will focus on leveraging the strength of that student population to have a seat at the table and become prominent voices in the community and in the workforce. We want to create rich experiences both in and out of the classroom and put a priority on career outcomes. That means that we will have appropriately a focus on increased retention and defining what JWU's unique value is to the community. So we will be forming an exceptional student experience committee that will be populated with faculty and staff who will focus on student success, new initiatives that we can undertake to support students' development and their experiences, and to contribute to their persistence and their ability to become leaders in the community. We will also take a look at our academic offerings. We need to be smart and we need to rely on the data about the programs that we'll offer at the campus. And so as part of our market research findings, we'll begin to evaluate what should we be offering that's aligned to current and future workforce needs. This could very well include developing new curriculum. It might include developing new models of learning, including leaning into remote learning. It might also mean sunsetting some programs that have simply lived out their lifespan and for which there's limited demand right now or opportunity. And so we will be convening an academic programs committee, also comprised of faculty and staff, to consider what's timely and relevant to a future student body. This might include exploration into certificates and micro-credentials, perhaps new non-credit programs and corporate training and reskilling. And again, looking at our remote and online learning. We might even look at new partnerships with other colleges and universities to create pathways for individuals. Our final priority will be to structure the campus to be successful. And this will lead into our five-year plan. We've already started to gather research and data, as I've referenced, from the external marketplace, and we'll continue to prioritize that data while we simultaneously build our relationships in the community, strengthen our student experiences, and continue to evaluate our academic programming. This later in the next 2 weeks, we'll begin pulling together our committees to help refine some of our strategies. And by January, we hope to have our roadmap for the strategic plan for 2025, with one of our goals being to once again be a prominent institution in Charlotte and beyond. So as you can see, we've got quite ambitious goals and priorities for the next year. And frankly, I'm quite excited to be working alongside the faculty and staff at the JWU Charlotte campus to write the next chapter in the campus's history. As alum of JWU Charlotte, I know that you are our best ambassadors. And I have a challenge for you today to help us to achieve these priorities. My ask of you is threefold. The first, help us identify potential partners, events, or opportunities that will raise our brand in the community. If you're part of a civic group or a nonprofit association or a faith-based community that we should be working with, tell us. Help us identify those places where we need to partner, and those may even be at your place of employment. Help us stay informed of opportunities within all of your networks. Number two, help us stay informed of new positions that your companies are creating so that we can design our academic programs to educate and prepare our graduates to contribute to those industries. Let us know what programming you would personally like to see to remain engaged with Johnson & Wales as you continue your own career. Perhaps there are advanced certifications or continuing education courses that you'd like to participate in. Or perhaps you know of internship opportunities that can help our outgoing graduates. Help us stay informed to connect the industry needs with the academic programs. And my final ask of you is to let us know what was most meaningful for you when you were a student. We want to know why you chose JWU, and more importantly, what made you stay and what made you graduate. We need to do more to keep our students engaged, and you can tell us what works that helps them stay engaged and what we should do less of. You had experiences as a student and now as an alumnus. Your experiences are important to us as we define what a JWU education means for our future students. So let me pause, leaving you with those 3 action items, and welcome questions from the group.
I'm Melinda Law. I handle the public relations for the university. I'm going to help with the Q&A right now. In fact, Cheryl, we do have a couple of questions coming in. The first one is from Chase, and he says, could alumni contribute towards creating future curriculum?
So I'm so glad to see you on this call. Yes. So one of the things that we'll be doing that I didn't mention here is creating a President's Council and Industry Advisory Councils. And we're still shaping those right now, but the intent behind those councils will be for individuals who are working in particular industries, including our alumni, to be helping to inform our curriculum, whether that be on the credit side or the non-credit side, helping us secure internship and career opportunities for our students, helping us secure scholarships for our students, and helping us identify partners. So if that's something that you're interested in, anyone who's on this call, I would encourage you to reach out to Chris Plano and raise your hand. I gave a similar challenge to our faculty and staff and said, raise your hand if you'd like to be part of this. We welcome all of the insights and the perspectives that you have. So please reach out to Chris Plano if you're interested in participating in that way.
President Richards, we seem to have just a minor problem with the audio. We could hear you, but there was just a little bit of feedback. So we'll try another question and just see what happens. But we wanted to just take a break for a minute because we have, I have a special guest. Sit down, sit down. Look who's here. Wildcat Willie. And he's wearing his mask. Let's fix that a little bit. So a little hard to practice social distance as large as you are, but he wanted to step in here and say hi to the alumni. Say hi to everybody. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for practicing your social distancing and wearing of your mask.
Okay, let me see. We have another question here. And again, hang in there, everybody, with her audio. There seems to be a little bit of feedback, or I'm not sure what it is, but Ted Watkins. Good to see you, Ted. Where will alumni have the opportunity to serve with a voice input with the strategic plan or strategic plan committees?
Repeat, and hopefully the audio will be better this time, similar to Chase's question there around raising your hand. As part of our advisory councils, we will be seeking the input of not only our own internal employees, faculty, and staff, but those of the business community and that of our alumni to help us as we think about what we need to shape in terms of our academic programs, credit or non-credit, how we need to be engaging in the business community so that we have career and internship and externship opportunities. And then also to help provide resources for our students. Those of you who have been through this journey know that there is a very important part of being able to focus on your studies while not worrying about the finances of it. So we intend to create strong partnerships with the business community, and I say that loosely, the business community, of which all of you are part of, because you are now part of the workforce. And so you will help us inform some of our decisions. So if you are interested in participating in that, please send an email to Chris Plano so that we can bring together those who are interested in shaping that, whether that's in person or virtually over the next couple of months as we build this out. Thank you. I'm so delighted to hear so many people interested in helping out. It's wonderful.
Thank you, President Richards. All right, what we're going to do is switch gears a little bit. We're going to go back to Chris Plano, and everybody say bye to Wildcat Willie. We're going to allow Q&A for some faculty members. We have some of your favorite faculty members here to talk with you as well. Thank you for coming.
Right. Well, thank you, Melinda, and thank you, President Richards, for your compelling and informative presentation for our JW alumni and guests. And thank you again, Melinda and Wildcat Willie. At this time, we do have several faculty and staff members who would like to interact with our JW alumni and guests. On the webinar with us this evening are Chef Jerry Lanuza, Dean, College of Food, Innovation and Technology, or better known as CFIT. Benjamin Robinson, Chair, College of Business. Alistair Williams, Professor, College of Hospitality Management. Trudy Lacey, Director of Athletics. And Robert Penry from our admissions office, and as admissions officer in admissions, will talk to us a little bit about admissions towards the end of the panel. But at this time, I do want to swing it over to Chef Jerry Lanuza to give us a very quick update on College of Food Innovation and Technology. Chef Lanuza.
Hey, thank you, Chris. Greetings, alum. Appreciate you guys being here tonight. Yeah, we're fighting a good fight. You know, all covered up in battle, socially distanced, reduced our numbers in labs to 14 people maximum, which still makes it pretty interesting. As President Richards said, we've had some pretty good luck, and we're continuing. We're now in our second year of offering culinary nutrition, which was brand new last year, and then also food science, innovation, and technology, or applied food science as we generally call it. Both programs are pretty exciting and lead for some opportunities other than the traditional food service management, entrepreneurship, and such, which we still have all of those. So nothing lost, only additions. We're still fighting a good fight and trying to teach all these guys how to cook and getting some good results.
All right, well, thank you very much, Chef Lanuza. And if any alumni have any questions for Chef Lanuza concerning the College of Food Innovation and Technology, he'll be glad to answer any here in just a few moments. I would like to go up next with our chair for the College of Business, Dr. Benjamin Robinson, to give us a quick update on College of Business.
Hey everyone, thanks Chris. Great to see everyone. Actually, I can't really see you, but I can feel you. I think we're doing really well in the College of Business. Back in 1931, the President of Columbia had 3 types of people: those who make things happen, those who watch things happen, and those who wonder what happened. So we've been trying to be in that former category and take advantage of the opportunity and really look deeply into the things we do well and double down, and then kind of adapt and be flexible in this new environment. So we have a number of signature events that we continue to do. We just had Donna Dunlap, who is the president of the Big Brothers Big Sisters of Charlotte, and we continue with our executive speaker series. It's actually going even better than before because we're able to do it through Zoom. And I would invite alumni to participate in that because we don't have any social distancing restrictions on Zoom. The other thing is we launched an MBA program, which is really interesting for us. As you know, this is our first graduate program in Charlotte, and we've had the ability to link up with our online program to even do better than we've done before. Hopefully that'll be back on campus so we can take advantage of our location that Dr. Richards talked about. With that, I will be quiet and accept any questions, but thank you for being on here. Alumni, can't be more proud of you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Robinson, for that update for the College of Business. It's greatly appreciated, and thank you for joining us this evening. I would like to bring it over to Professor Alistair Williams with the College of Hospitality Management to give us an update on hospitality management and his area. Professor Williams, thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Chris. And it's great to be involved in this. It's for everybody. This is a completely new world, and I'm actually looking at it from both perspectives. Some of you might know I opened a a restaurant kind of 18 months ago. So I'm, as many of you are, I'm kind of seeing the effects of this whole pandemic on our industry. But I'm also teaching in the university, and I teach hybrid, so I teach online, and I also teach face-to-face. And the beverage courses, so I teach marketing online, but I teach the beverage courses face-to-face. And so it's been an interesting experience, socially distancing those students and trying to give the students a great experience in a really difficult environment as we're in at the moment. And I think we've done, in the hospitality college, I think we've done a really great job. Particularly, I can talk about my own area within the beverages, of making sure that the students are still getting a great experience in what's been a really difficult a time for them. So I've been involved in that. I'm also involved in a couple of other activities. So we're doing a JWU SIP alumni event on, the date is the, let me just check, the October 27th at 6 o'clock. We're going to be talking about Oktoberfest beers, and I'm going to be talking through some Oktoberfest beers and tasting some beers. That should be a lot of fun. On the program side, we recently introduced a master's in international beverage management. At the moment, that is fully online, but hopefully, like Benjamin was saying with the MBA, hopefully that will come into the campus itself in fall of 2021. But that's been an interesting experience developing that master's program. I've been, as I say, I've been involved in the restaurant. I actually have some alumni working for me, and some current students working for me. So it's been a real experience teaching and trying to run the restaurant, and also trying to deliver new programs. So any alumni ever need any help, any alumni ever need anything we can do, absolutely just reach out for us. And I say that for the whole of the hospitality college.
Thank you, Professor Williams, for that update for the College of Hospitality Management. It's appreciated. And for my alumni, if you have questions for any of our panelists this evening, once again, please share it in the Q&A section. We will have Q&A for these panelists, and I'm looking for some engaging questions from our alumni so you know fully what's going on in their areas. I would like to swing it over now to our Director of Athletics, Coach Trudy Lacey, to give us an update on athletics. It's been very interesting with athletics just at the college level and university level, and Coach Lacey will give us an update on Wildcat Athletics.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Chris, thank you so much for everything that you do, and we just appreciate you. President Richards, thank you for being on the call and sharing your strategic vision with us. Yes, in the world of athletics, it's been a very interesting time. We have, as you all can imagine, gone through a lot of changes, a lot of ups and downs, with sports going away, coming back, trying to safely bring sports back. It's been, like I said, very challenging time, but I will say that our coaches have done a absolutely tremendous job. If you can only imagine our department starting 3 new sports. So we added golf, cross country, and tennis. So we did that during the pandemic. And not only did we have to recruit our rosters for our existing sports, we also had to recruit rosters for our new sports. So that meant during the pandemic, no games, no abilities to get transcripts, no way to do in-person recruiting, trying to keep the athletes in shape virtually, having virtual study halls. But as I said before, our athletes and our coaches stepped up and did a tremendous job. This past spring, our department finished with an overall GPA of a 3.13. We also were able to recruit 67 new athletes that were enrolled this fall. And our total roster for the spring moving forward, we are looking to have almost 150 student athletes that would join us in the spring. So that, I believe, is the most that we've ever had on our campus. So we are super excited about that. As many of you who follow sports know, that competitions and championships for the fall were postponed throughout the country. As you know, sports is making a comeback, and we are cautiously optimistic about that. And so the USCAA, we will return to competition and championships in the spring of 2021. So again, thank you all so much for being with us this evening, and I'll turn it back to you, Chris.
Thank you so much, Coach Lacey, for that update in athletics. And I know we want our athletes back on the courts and playing fields as soon as possible, and we're going to do whatever we can here to make that happen at not only here at the Charlotte campus, but the other campuses as well, up in Providence too.
And we're going to hear you announcing too. We miss hearing your voice announcing.
I'm resting my voice. I'm getting extra rest. It's appreciated.
Absolutely.
Okay, our last panelist, and before we have some questions for our panel, will be my good friend Robert Penry over in admissions. He's an admissions officer and a proud graduate of Johnson & Wales. Going to talk to our alumni very briefly about the MBA program and some options that are available to them. And Robert, as I believe you went through the program as well and a graduate.
All right. Thank you, Chris. And thank you, President Richards, for your update. We're so happy to have you here leading our campus. And thank all of you alumni for joining us. Some of you on the West Coast a little bit earlier in the afternoon. For those of you on the East Coast along with the team here, good evening. But as Chris said, my name is Robert Penry, and I am a proud graduate of the Charlotte campus. I was part of the first graduating class in 2008, and I've been working for the admissions office since the fall of 2009. As many of my colleagues have shared, it has definitely been an interesting year, but I think one benefit of everything going on, it has really made us think outside of the box even more than we normally do. So we're excited about some things that are going to be coming up, different programs, different admissions related events, but I did want to just reiterate that the MBA program is now available at the Charlotte campus. I know some of you maybe have been wanting to do it and didn't want to do it online. We're hoping it'd come to the Charlotte campus, and we're very excited that it is here. I myself, I am a graduate of the MBA program. I did it through the online program. I was still traveling quite a bit for work, so on campus just wasn't even an option for me. But for those of you that are interested in continuing on, whether it's your MBA or, as Professor Williams said, the Master's in the International Beverage program, definitely feel free to reach out to me. You all know the drill, first name dot last name at jw.edu. So please reach out to me if you know any friends, Johnson & Wales alumni or not. We are happy to help them any way possible. But again, thank you all so much for joining us this evening.
Robert, thank you for that update in admissions. It's appreciated, and we appreciate all your hard work over there. It's never ending, and I know you already focus on the next class next September as well. So looking forward to it. Okay, alumni questions. I am going to swing it back over to Melinda Law. Maybe Wildcat Willie is still around. I'm not sure. I am going to swing it over to Melinda with any Q&A for anyone on the panel from alumni. Melinda, take it away.
Yeah, Zach had a question. How often is curriculum being audited to keep up with what is currently in practice and where that field is going? Can anybody take that one?
I can take that one. So when we look at our programs after every year, we kind of evaluate them in terms of how graduates are doing and what's happening in the industry. We've got some really base core programs, but there's considerably more opportunity out there in things like data analytics and risk management and compliance. If you look at the number of banks and financial institutions in Charlotte, clearly there's a focus there that we need to tap into. So we're doing it, we'll do it better, and I think we'll have even more programs looking forward.
And there's also a process of program review, which takes into consideration the opinions of other educators as well as professionals and practitioners out in the field. And so we had one about 4.5, 5 years ago in culinary, which was a major driving force for the sequential learning steps. So if you remember, if you were a recent graduate, you had to take foundations and fundamentals before you could take any other course. But if you're an alumni from previous, I don't know, 2015, well, yeah, 2015 or so, you could have had stocks and sauces first, or you could have had stocks and sauces last. And there was no rhyme or reason. It was just, we knew you were going to get the information from stocks and sauces. So we have gone away with that thinking and now have a sequential learning. Sanitation is a first term requirement. So students will have sanitation, they'll have their certificate, food manager certificate, before they even get to their sophomore year. So it's not even a question if they'll be able to go out on an internship without sanitation and such. And we've also looked at the content of the courses. I think if you come back to campus and see what has been done with the semesters versus the quarters in what we used to do, especially in what used to be culinary, you won't recognize it. It's an entirely different JWU these days.
All right, thanks. We've got another question from Ted Watkins, and I know President Richards responded a little bit to this, but I thought I might as well share it with all faculty and staff here. Having mentored and led a student-driven professional organization on campus, National Association for Catering and Events, will the university, faculty and staff place more emphasis on professional organization involvement? What do you think will make this easier for you as faculty and staff to encourage this in the classroom? He says, I ask this because it's been very difficult to engage students and show them the value of starting out early with professional networking.
Take a stab at starting it and then invite my colleagues to provide the faculty perspective on this too. When we did the Wildcat Way welcome this fall, one of the first things that we said to our incoming class of freshman students was, don't wait until you're a senior to get involved in career services and organizations, I think professional organizations. There are far more opportunities to get engaged early and to see how that's going to play out in your professional career. And so this is one of the areas, Ted, that actually our Committee on Exceptional Student Experiences will be tackling over the next couple months, is how do we integrate for students that connection between the career outcomes, get them involved in professional organizations, not only for their edification and their benefit to understand it, but to serve as ambassadors for the university in those professional areas. And so it's a great suggestion that you've raised, and it's one that we've identified that needs further conversation as we work through some of our committees. Any of my faculty colleagues want to comment in addition to that?
Yeah, I'm happy to just chime in a little bit. So I, as a faculty member, I've actually, facilitated and been involved in a couple of student organizations. In International Food Services Executive, the EFC organization, I was the faculty lead for that for many years. And also with the North Carolina Beer and Wine Association, we've been involved in that. I think the difficulty for a lot of our students is just the pressure of time. We know that our students work, many of them work in the industry, and then add that to, the schooling. It's just a challenge sometimes. I think we've done a good job of it, but I think we can definitely look at how we can facilitate, this area for the students going forward. I think it's definitely something we can be better at, but I think it's definitely a challenging one for all of us.
I would agree, and I think age has a big part to do with that as well. I mean, these students come in and they don't know what they don't know, and how important networking can be. So we have to find a way to really drive that point home as soon as we can, because it comes down to that battle of, okay, it's an evening event. Do I want to go hang out with a bunch of people I don't really know at all, that's kind of like school related and not necessarily, or at least they don't think it has the potential to be fun? Or can I go watch a movie, stream Netflix, hang out with my friends, whatever the case may be? And again, a lot of that comes back to what Professor Williams said, which is just the time crush. And then, you know, making sure that, you know, because this is, again, not high school anymore. It's a whole new animal.
Yeah, Jerry, it's funny. We actually have introduced this in the classroom. So Chase will tell you in the 420 class, we actually do case studies for businesses, Fortune 500, et cetera, and we'll have the businesses come and listen to the presentations of the students. And that's when the networking really begins, because we encourage the students to talk to the executives that come in. Clearly, they're going to know about the company, so they don't have to worry about studying or preparing. And we've been able to get some mileage out of that and some really good opportunities within the Charlotte business community. And I think we're just going to do that again and again, particularly in this state that we're in.
Well, Robert Penry, this might be a good one for you. There's a question from Chase about moving to virtual career fairs. Has moving career fairs virtually benefited students to be exposed to potential employers that normally have not worked with the university previously? I know these virtual career fairs are a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. So I will be completely honest. Career services, experiential education and career services has much more of a hand with our virtual career fairs. But one benefit of having a virtual career fair is we are not limited on space. Last year, I walked into our career fair in the Wildcat Center, and it was absolutely jam-packed, which is awesome. But also means, because we were out of space, probably had to, unfortunately, leave out some people. So I think the virtual aspect is going to open up the realm of opportunities a lot more. And it's an adjustment that we're all having to make. I think the key word today is pivot, and we are pivoting and doing as best we can. If you would like some additional information, I'm happy to follow up with career services with you on that one.
And I believe we are joining UNCC, if I'm correct. Yes, we are joining UNCC for an upcoming virtual career fair. And Ted asked, with the social distancing and limited capacity regulations in place, are professors allowed to still have guest speakers on campus at this time? Everybody's going, no. Go ahead, Alistair. Back to virtual.
No, I mean, we've been kind of, it's difficult enough just having the students on. You know, in my class, for example, you know, we've got perspex up, we've got, you know, we're socially distanced. The idea of inviting people from outside, I think, is just too much of a challenge. However, what many of us have done is to do exactly what we're doing now. We've made those experiences virtual. So, you know, many of us are inviting guest speakers, but in a virtual platform only. And I think that will be certainly, as I understand, that's the plan for the through the fall anyway.
Yeah,
but many of us are doing that. Many of us are having kind of virtual professors, virtual guest lecturers, and it's working. You know, it's working.
And some of the nice things about that is that you're not limited by geography.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have an alum that's in California and is willing to talk to your class, it's just a matter of coordinating that schedule. And we've done that in a especially the dining room class. Professor Gilbert loves to have guest speakers and, you know, try to relate real world as much as we can.
Well, I know from my department, I take, over the years, I take faculty or I take alumni to WBTV once a month to do a live demo. And we can't even do that. We're not even allowed in the studio at this point. So yeah, some of these things are just on hold or by Zoom. Someone here, Sydney, asked, what are some of the plans that are being implemented to engage students more on campus now that everything is virtual? Chris, you might be able to address a little bit of that, how we're keeping students busy on campus with whatever event we can do with social distancing and masks.
Yes, we are. And, you know, hats off to the student affairs area at this campus. Dean Perrell and Alan Doty Megan Giles over in student involvement and leadership. We're doing a lot with the students virtually at this point. We have had some events on campus where students can participate, but it has been virtual. It has been unique for us. I believe we're breaking new ground in that area because they're doing things virtually. Even this week, I believe is a lot of the fraternities and sororities on campus are doing things virtually with the students, and the Student Government Association, they're having their first House of Reps meeting tonight virtually. It's always been in the Hanson Auditorium every month for as long as I can remember. So it's, you know, we've really pivoted well in that area. And another thing too is I think the students that are here on campus and virtual, I think they also understand what's going on as well, and they're embracing this and adapting it, and you know, hats off to them. And I think they're just going to get better and better in what they do over in the student involvement leadership area, and really leading that charge. And I know they want students at events in person, and I know they want to get there, but I think we will eventually get there, just like with athletics and everything else. But it's a virtual world until then, but they're being creative at the same time.
Well, there's no more questions lined up at this point. So if anybody would like to take over for a few minutes until a few more questions come in, that'd be great.
Absolutely. You know, thank you, you know, to all my panelists this evening. You all did great. And obviously to President Richards for her presentation earlier in the evening. I did want to have a little bit of fun. For those that did register prior to September 13th, you all received a special gift from Johnson & Wales Charlotte. And if you haven't done so yet, I certainly hope you have your envelope that we mailed to you nearby or near you. If you haven't opened it yet, please open it at this time to see what is inside from us. Alumni who did register prior to September 13th received a JW Wildcats face mask, courtesy of the Johnson & Wales Charlotte campus. We'd like for you to wear that out in public, showing your Wildcat pride. You also received a notebook and pen set from us and a JW Wildcats window decal. Enjoy the items that we sent you. Again, show that Wildcat pride, you know, definitely when you're out in your local community. And as I know, President Richards says, you know, we definitely like for you to, you know, raise your glass and have some cheers. And, you know, we are off and running with the 2020-2021 academic school year. And we're going to make it the best one yet here at Johnson & Wales, Charlotte, and everything that we do.
And Chris, speaking of cheers, Epicurean events coming up.
That's right. Yes, we do have events coming up. And for a full list of all upcoming alumni events, alumni are always encouraged to visit the events calendar at alumni.jw.edu or visit JW Alumni Connect, our online platform. You can also follow us on social media as well at JW Alumni, but two events that we do want to note that are coming up that Melinda said. The first one is on Wednesday, October 14th, which will be our Epicurean Scholarship Society virtual event. Again, first time we've ever done a virtual event with the Epicurean Scholarship Society, titled At the Kitchen Table. And it'll be a great interactive session. If alumni would like to participate in that event, they can email me personally at chris.plano@jwu.edu, and we will get you on the RSVP list for that event. And another event that Professor Williams mentioned just a little while ago, Tuesday, October 27th, will be our October Sip with JW event. And we will be talking craft beers, and obviously it's October, so it's Oktoberfest. And we are looking forward to that Sip with JW event and promoting that area, and of course our beverage management program here at Johnson & Wales University. So yes, definitely some great events coming up, and everything is on the alumni website.
And Dr. Robinson, what's going to happen with Shark Fest? Virtual? Everything's virtual? Even Shark Fest?
We're working on it, but we can't lose our signature event that has a lot of interest from students. My belief is it will be virtual. I'm not sure how that's going to happen yet, but we're working hard at it.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to have much of a choice. I will be very interested to see how we can pull off Shark Fest, though. This is a really interesting question. What type of things that have been adopted due to the situation, all the COVID protocols, might stay when things are normal? Masks? I don't know.
Virtual faculty meetings.
Trudy?
I know admissions-wise, we have introduced a lot of virtual events that we have not done in the past, and that will continue on going forward, COVID or no COVID.
I think some of the virtual guest speakers, I think there's actually some, as Jerry said, there's actually some really positives in being able to offer virtual guest speakers, because, you know, we can use speakers from all over NC rather than just our very local, or all over the country, in fact, but just instead of, we tend to focus on just the people in Charlotte. I think it gives us a really good opportunity to you know, stream in some guests and collaborators from further afield than we would traditionally have done. So I can definitely see in the kind of virtual guest speaker thing continuing to be a part of our programs going forward.
Yeah, I almost think we have to, because I think when we look at the opportunities out there, clearly businesses are not going back to the status quo. In fact, a lot of them are looking at reducing real estate and staying remote permanently. So from a curriculum perspective, we're going to have to introduce that into how we teach.
And on a more serious note, I think the student management system of, you know, ULearn, faculty have had to go through so much training and development in such a fast pace that when it finally slows down, I don't think that training is just going to get dumped to the side. And I think that the ULearn course shells are going to be much more complementary to the courses going forward than they have been pre-COVID.
I mentioned WBTV earlier, and I'm glad I did, because Tatiana Thomas just asked a question, and you remember her, Dean Lanuza, I'm sure, one of our culinary students. She has a question. For students at the high school level who are involved with culinary, what can I do as a new culinary instructor to engage my students with potential opportunities that JWU provides that I received as a previous student of JWU? For example, like when a student chef visited the high school. Robert, you might be able to help with this too.
Yeah, I would say that, you know, to the greatest extent possible, we would be willing to discuss almost anything, but we have to be, of course, very careful from a liability standpoint, a safety standpoint, and we would just hate for, you know, any potential negative experience to come out of coming to visit, you know, this school that might be a dream of yours. So we work closely with admissions, and, you know, whether it's a virtual, you know, classroom discussion, or even a virtual demo or something along that line, there can be some creative ways to, you know, get something and make it happen. We just have to figure out what that is.
And absolutely, for any of you that are joining us this evening, we already have virtual culinary demos, I believe 3 days a week. So definitely take advantage of those in our virtual setting now. And hopefully once we can get past this, we'll be back in your classrooms and helping out as much as we can.
And Tatiana, you can send me an email and we can brainstorm.
Yeah, I was thinking those culinary demos too, some kind of Zoom demos, but you still don't get the taste and the smell. Yeah.
That's where the brainstorming comes in.
Right, Tatiana, get back in touch with us. All right, let's see if we have any more questions. I think maybe one more just came in. Sydney, how has COVID affected the class of 2020 in their job search for entry-level jobs? Good question.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, there's still a lot of jobs out there, and it's certainly a different environment. And you know, like Professor Williams said, he's working with current students, he's working with alumni. As COVID starts to hopefully get beat back, and as vaccines become available sometime in the future, things are going to start getting looser in terms of opening up. Is social distancing probably ever totally going away? No, I think that's going to be around for a while, but people are going to have such cabin fever that they're going to want to go, and they're going to want to go out to eat. And so I think the jobs are still out there. We don't have very many people standing around going, oh, I just can't find a job. It might not be the dream job, but it's a job.
I also think that, talent is talent. There's still a need for talented individuals out there. And within the College of Business, I think we tell students this presents an opportunity. So you may have to change what you intended to do or where you intended to do it. But, for every obstacle, if you open up those variables and look widely, I think there are still great opportunities out there. And the fact you can work remote. I mean, who would have thought that you could actually start your career in your pajamas? That's incredible to me.
Well, we're also hoping to go into at least phase 3 soon. So maybe that would open up, more opportunities for people, larger gatherings.
2.75.
Yeah, don't say that. At least a few of you might be able to go to a Panthers game. 7%.
Yeah, never mind. I would say it.
7%. Well, does anybody else have any questions while we have the attention of faculty and staff and President Richards? Waiting for a few more questions to come in. And faculty members, feel free to share any more information you have about new programming or classes that you'd like to discuss.
Linda, I think we have a request. We'd like to know how the alum are doing as well. And if they're getting great opportunities out there, let us know. I mean, we need to keep track of that stuff and brag about you. And, we would love to do our executive speaker series with JWU alum, first and foremost. So I open that up.
And if you could share your stories, you could send it. You all know our email addresses, firstname.lastname@jwu.edu. I'm always looking for student stories and alumni stories, success stories. Please let us know what you're doing. I'd love to write about you. I write all kinds of stories for the JWU blog. It can be put in, I still have the faculty staff newsletter that I've had for so many years. So I can post any of your stories in the newsletter and on the JWU website, the blog news page. So we'd love to brag about you. We just need to know your story. So feel free, mlaw@jwu.edu. Please let us know what you're doing, where you're working. We'd love to hear from you.
And there might be some really interesting stories, like Dr. Robinson said, is that, I graduated with a culinary degree and now I'm working in a hospital, but wow, it's so similar and so cool, but I would have never thought. That would be a great story.
And absolutely, from the admission standpoint, if you want to come share your story at open house or virtual open house, we would love to have you as well.
All right. Well, Chris, we're going to hand it back to you. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thank you so much, Melinda, for your help and with the Q&A portions of the event. And thank you all for spending time with us this evening. I know the past few months haven't been easy, but I hope you're finding strength and support in the Johnson Wales University alumni community. We've all felt the effects of the pandemic, and Johnson & Wales is no exception. The university was able to limit the disruption to students by quickly pivoting to remote learning last spring, and we've gone to great lengths on campus to ensure the safety of our students, faculty, and staff this fall. But many students continue to experience unforeseen challenges affecting their ability to complete their degrees and pursue their goals. That's why we've established the JW Emergency Fund to provide direct and immediate assistance to our Wildcats. If you're in a position to give back today, please consider making a gift of any amount using the hyperlink in the chat window. On behalf of Charlotte Campus President Cheryl Richards, Melinda Law, my guest panelists this evening, and last but not least, Wildcat Willie, I've been your host, Chris Plano. We look forward to seeing you at future JW alumni events. Good night, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, and thank you once again for joining us.